Hi, Hunter Hastings here. Today we're going to meet two brilliant entrepreneurs and their brilliant business. And I use that term for two particular reasons. First, their business is brilliant because they've identified a specialization that they can master, they can become the experts, and then they can deliver that as a uniquely valuable service to a targeted group of customers. That's very hard to do these days. But Barbara Wardell and Ernesto Cullari have done that with a technology they call Geofencing that generates a particular kind of marketing service business for targeted clients. And the second part of being brilliant is finding a real need out in the marketplace, one that is underserved and one that their technology service business can meet and provide tremendous benefits and a high ROI. And we'll talk about that with them. So Barbara and Ernesto run a business called Cullari and Wardell. It provides business building services that drives traffic, revenue, profit, and sustainability for retail locations of all kinds, whether that be a laundromat, which we'll talk about, or whether it's a concert venue or any other kind of place-based business. But Barbara and Ernesto also represent another really important element of tomorrow's economy, which is that any business of any size can reach out and tap into the most powerful technology with the greatest expertise for applying that technology to create an extended business that has no limits. That's the exciting future. Let's talk to Barbara and Ernesto.
This is the Value Creators Podcast. Value creation is the sole purpose of any business and every business, and for all of us as entrepreneurs. Listen to great value creators as they share their successes, trials, and lessons learned. Join us as we explore how to think as value creators, how to act as value creators, and how to view business through the lens of value creation.
Hi, Barbara, and hi, Ernesto, and welcome to the Value Creators Podcast.
Hello, Hunter.
Hi, Hunter. We're happy to be here.
Well, we're delighted to have you here as well. We can see your agency sign and logo behind you there, Cullari and Wardell. You can tell us about that at your leisure, but I wanted to start here. The reason why we're excited to talk to you both today is thinking about big tech for big business, or big data for big business, or big tech for small business. Generally, the idea that small businesses are no longer small. They can access all the tools and all the resources that are available to big businesses, and they can use them just as creatively and in just as competitively advantaged a way. You have a specific area of big tech for small business, and we'll get into that shortly. But tell us your philosophy about that. Tell us your thinking and how you see the future for so-called small businesses.
I think that small businesses are actually going to grow and really compete with the big business, as in cutting a lot of their revenue from them. Because I think people now see the most important thing about really using small businesses for them to grow, because they're the fabric of our United States. They are really the heart of the United States. And I think that people are realizing to support small businesses and having them grow. It's just that our responsibility as that small, medium business is to still keep that heart and not go into a corporate world and then not look at from being a perspective, now I'm big, now I'm not going to take care of everyone else. And I think that's important.
Medicine is a good example of how small business is being squeezed out, the family practitioner. And then you have hospital groups eating these small practices up. I was listening to one of your more recent podcasts where they were trying to come up with a solution for physicians and then referring Say you have a country doctor who has a patient with cancer, they want to refer. Well, the problem is with a lot of small business, big companies come along and eat you up. But Barbara and I believe that a small business can be competitive, remain competitive, and even chip away from that audience of a big company simply by A, communicating better, which is why geofencing is effective, and B, winning one customer over at a time. And in the long run, because small business is able to provide a better level of service and a more personalized level of service, we think that the future's bright for local family-owned small businesses, from medicine to boutiques.
Just like the pharmacy, right?
Yeah.
The little pharmacies versus the CVSs and the Walgreens and the ones that compound, because they really do take care of their local community. And they've always been hit by the pharmaceutical industry. And now you're seeing the difference.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad to hear you both talk that way. I think it's very exciting. Since we're talking the medical community, there's a big growth now in individual practices for doctors to do general practice for their patients, have a better relationship with them, do concierge medicine where they get paid a fee for providing that service. But then they're plugged into these great technological networks. They can connect to imaging resources. They can connect to blood test clinics and all of the resources that a doctor needs, and yet provide personal service. So let's make the leap to the particular service we're going to talk about today that's high tech for small business. You call it geofencing, and I'm not very knowledgeable about that, but tell us about the technology first.
Sure. Geofencing encompasses anything that is location based, where as an advertiser, you can look at IP addresses, you can track mobile phone devices. The way we use geofencing is that we take GPS based satellites, we draw virtual fences around locations, let's say competitors. So Barbara comes from the compound pharmacy world. So let's say you're a local family pharmacist and you want to grow your business. You can draw virtual fences around CVS, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and you can send everyone that walks into those stores and to those pharmacies, you can send them an ad to come to your local family pharmacy. And when they do come to your family pharmacy, the satellite will ping us, alerting us that a new visit has taken place. So it really is leveling the playing field. So in fact, the larger following the local CVS has, the larger the following the local Walgreens has, the more audience you have to send ads to potentially become your clients.
So, just from my understanding, if I'm the business doing the geofencing, am I drawing that line around my own business or around the competitor's business, or both? How does that work?
You're drawing it right around your competitor's business.
Okay.
And then we draw another fence around our own business, and that's called the conversion zone. So that's to see who comes home to our business. The technology is so good that we can learn who's already your customer, who's coming to you naturally without ever seeing an ad, and then who's coming to you as a result of they've been delivered an ad, and then they deliver a visit to you. So we know your natural business, and then we know the business that you gain through geofencing.
So is everybody with a mobile phone inside that geofence getting a message, or can you select?
You're really bidding. So what happens is you walk into that geofence, your device is anonymized so that we have the right to track you without creeping on you. We don't listen in on your device, unlike some social platforms out there. We're not, we're turning on your camera like the NSA might. We're simply anonymizing your device when you walk into a location. And then we have the right to bid across all the ad spaces that show up on your phone. So if you're in the weather app, or if you're in a chat app, if you're in a dating app, or if you are on the wide open web, or now we have the ability, for the very first time ever, Amazon has opened up its database to people like us. And for the very first time ever, you can now sell services across the Amazon
Network.
Whole Foods network.
Well, tell us a little bit more about
Locally.
that. So anybody who
Sure.
is bored on Amazon, you can access?
Yeah, so say you're a HVAC company or you're a dentist, and if you're a dentist and someone in your area in real time went on to Amazon Prime and ordered teeth whitening strips, you can then send them an ad to say, while they're in the Amazon Prime website or Whole Foods website, to say, hey, come on in for a checkup. Or say, we live on the Jersey Shore where there's hurricanes, and say, during a certain period of time, people are looking on Amazon Prime to get a generator for their home. Well, that's you really need to know what you're doing, even if you're going to set up a generator outside your house.
Mm-hmm.
So your local HVAC company could then send you an ad in real time that you probably should do a home inspection for heating and air, and for power and electricity, and for installation of devices like that.
Well, is there any other level of targeting that you can do, Barbara? You can reach people by their web activity, I understand that, and their geographical location through entering the geofence. Can I target younger women, older men, soccer fans? Can I do more targeting?
Yes, you can even target events as well. We have firsthand data, so we know basically from their revenue, from when their lease is up for a car dealership, to target them. Say that your lease is up, say a Mercedes dealer, the Mercedes dealer can send them ads and say, hey, instead of going to say Caldwell Mercedes, go to the one in Silverton, or something like that. The days that like some of our cities now, they have blue laws, so they don't have you can't go shopping for anything except food on a Sunday outside that county in that area, and they wanted to touch those customers, they can send them there too as well.
Wow.
So we can do events, we can do targeting far as zip code targeting as well. We can do just in say wash, dry, fold, or pick up and delivery around a 15-mile radius for those exact customers on that route.
For laundromats
as well.
Well, since you mentioned that, I've in doing my background research, I understand you've implemented geofencing specifically, among other industries, for laundromats. That's fascinating to me because one of my buddies has a business in laundromats. He designed a special kind of instance. He called the brand name is Suds, and he made it kind of a community center. They put a little library in there so mothers can take their kids in. They can read books while they're there, and a bunch of other kind of neighborhood community elements. So I love the laundromat industry. Tell us about that particularly. How can you drive a new visitor to a laundromat?
Well, basically what we would do is talk to the laundromat, understand the geographical area that they're in, and we would do a foot traffic study of their business for the last year, a half hour before and a half hour after. We would see where their customers are coming from and where are they going. And then we would set up targets around that actual establishment, that say Suds laundromat. And then what we would do is draw actual polygons around areas that would come to that establishment after we did this complete study. Whether or not we serve the ads in Spanish or English depends on the demographics to what the audience that we are attracting. And then from there, when they went into the geofence and they we're looking on an app because we're outside of Facebook, Google, Instagram. That's all walled gardens. We don't want to be in there because you're competing against each other, right? This is wide open web of everybody in your local area. So once they see an ad, they can either click on it and it'll show them a map and actually take them to that location. Or if they don't come within a certain amount of time, say 90 days, we follow them. And then once they go into that establishment, the satellite pings us and tells us, you have a visit. It's the only advertising that we got a certified satellite verified visit, which is awesome because that shows you that they actually went into your door. And we know what kind of app they saw, what kind of, what size the app was, and also, where they saw it.
Yeah. Amazing. And you must have learned something about what kinds of messages work better than others. I mean, both the presentation of the messages, whether it's text and picture and video, and the content, what motivates. What have you found out?
Sure. I like that question because it allows us to talk to business owners about the sales funnel. So, geofencing is a tactic and a technology, and it is really, you can use any form of media and localize it to reach your audience. So, at the very high end, the very top of the sales funnel, you can think of connected TV. You could think of audio podcasts or music like on Spotify. So you could put an audio ad or you can put a video ad or a connected TV ad at the very top of the sales funnel so that you educate people, so that you raise brand awareness, so that you let people know, where you are and what service you provide. In the middle of that sales funnel, you might do some online targeting or retargeting. So the first they saw your ad or they heard your audio ad, then you're going to retarget them online as they're shopping or say they're in some sort of application. And then at the very bottom of the funnel, we might reach them with a native ad. So it might be a large edit, looks like an editorial, right, image, or it might look like it's part of the news story. But so at the very bottom of the sales funnel, you might then retarget them on their mobile device or their PC or laptop, and then you might go for an in-person visit, or the conversion might be an online conversion. But the sales funnel, anywhere along that funnel, you can use different forms of media to reach them on different devices. So that's from connected TV and smart TVs, and it could be on Spotify. It could be then maybe on Whole Foods or Amazon, and then it might be retargeting. And at the very bottom, then you go for the close. That could be a foot traffic visit that you're going for, or you could lead them to a landing page for a sign up.
So that sounds like a very comprehensive approach, Ernesto, and I'm sure it is. Is that what you do for your clients? You manage the whole sales funnel for them, or you assemble it and you configure it in the right way?
When they follow directions, yes. It's like if we were plastic surgeons and or even better, if we were cardiologists, a patient comes in and says, they have some chest pain and, how can you help me? So we can prescribe diet, we can prescribe exercise, we can send them to therapy and rehab, but, it's up to the client or the patient, to take good medicine. So as an ad agency, we give our best advice, and it's really up to the client in the very end to put all these things into action. But if we had our choice, we would be very comprehensive with absolutely everybody,
because it is important.
Yes. I mean, brand awareness is important, even if you're a big company like Chipotle or McDonald's, which, by the way, it's actually Chipotle and Burger King use geofencing. And so they used it during COVID to great effect.
Like Australia used it.
Australia
used it to keep you off the beach.
They used it to spy on their citizens.
So
there's also there's a great article out that just came out by Wired magazine, and using one of the technologies that we use, they were able to track Epstein Island visitors over the last year, where those visits originated from, and where on the island exactly they went. And that is one of the exact technologies we use for geofencing. Barbara was saying earlier, we've had the ability to look at where someone comes a half hour before your brick and mortar store and a half hour after to understand foot traffic patterns. Well, Australia used that to spy on their citizens, and people are out there using it now to find out who the creeps were at Epstein Island.
Yeah, fascinating.
And you can use it before you open up a business to see if that traffic is really able to support the business that you're putting in that area as well.
I actually like that you brought that point up, because so many businesses never know
do that. They just go in.
They're like, hey,
we built it and they won't come.
Yeah, this is like great shopping mall, and or great, it looks like a great retail spot, but then they're not matching their business to the economics
of the area.
Yeah, the local economics of the area. Can it support a Mercedes dealership, or should it be supporting a Honda deal or a Kia dealership? Should we be putting a high-end restaurant here, Or should we be putting, say, more of a grab and go, quick service restaurant? You really need to do foot traffic studies before you make the leap.
Because that is indicative of their behaviors, or their real-time behaviors, not if you're online and you're looking online and you're saying, okay, I'm looking at maybe a Mercedes, say, or maybe a Lamborghini, doesn't mean you're actually going to buy it.
Right.
But if you're actually in the car dealership or by there, look, it's a very different thing, and you're kicking the tires.
So foot traffic is more indicative of what people can really do. Therefore, before business should expand their services or expand their business or even open a business in a certain location, they really should do a foot traffic study to better understand all the local market forces.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you could optimize that, right, Ernesto? You could, if I had a business idea that had a retail location as part of the business model, you could run 10 of those models and say, this location's better than that location because of the foot traffic and the demographics and so on. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely.
It's a big difference, a block or two. You if you're looking at different places to put a business and you just move it one block one way, east or west or north or south.
Could make a significant difference. Even franchises, they need to do that.
Yeah. So we've talked about targeting, we've talked about messaging. Presumably you can measure the ROI of all this expenditure. You've talked about a couple of models and you can fine tune them. How do you get to ROI? You're recording purchases or revenues, or how are you measuring that?
So on the one hand, we have Noah, who's Barbara's son. He's one of our chief technologists. He has.
Are you mentioning him again? He likes to be in the background.
He lives in the basement. He's a mad scientist who lives in the basement, smoking cigars, playing video games, and trading crypto.
He's probably laughing in the corner right now.
He's actually in the kitchen getting all annoyed at us. But so we're able to measure return on investment by through our proprietary reporting system. But part of that allows us to look at the cost per visit. So nationwide, our cost per visit is somewhere around, it costs any one of our clients on average $7 per visit. It's at the last, we've taken on a lot of new clients. So our average went from $5 to $7. But clients that have been with us the longest, it costs them like $2.25 for every visit that walks through their door. And then when you know the value of a new customer, so let's go to laundry, because we your friend owns a laundromat or Suds, and then we're one of the larger providers for laundromats in the country for advertising, for geofencing advertising. The average drop-off customer is probably worth their spend is worth $1,200 or more for the year. If we send you a new pickup and delivery customer, just one, on average, the value of their spend is going to be about $2,500 or more for the year. So on the modest low side, say we send you 2 pickup and delivery, this month, 20 wash, dry, fold, and then 50 or 60 walk-in visits, and you spent $1,000 or $2,000 on your ad spend, you can see quickly how you're getting a high return on your investment, because you can count it with every single person that walks through your door or signs up on your website.
Yeah, that's impressive. So it sounds like you're running these models, which are quite sophisticated. Are you picking up long-term data as well, where you can look at shopping patterns? You're shifted from this mall to that mall, or here are expenditure trends which are changing, or here's how the demographics are changing. Are you doing that kind of long-term monitoring as well?
It's in the foot traffic studies. So, say you've been with us for a year or two, we can look at foot traffic studies and then compare when you started, where people are coming from. We're able to look at trends that are even outside of your own business. There's only so much you can do. So there are, let's take certain states during COVID had riots. We're able to look at these communities and see, yes, we may be driving you more customers, but because of the riots or because of other outside market forces, New Jersey, a lot of people moved from New York to New Jersey during the COVID years. A lot of people moved from New Jersey to Texas and Florida during the COVID years. So even though your business, you have more people coming through the door, it seems, you're actually fighting a trend, which is people fleeing from your local market. And geofencing can help you swim against that tide.
Yeah.
But foot traffic studies alone, just foot traffic studies alone, could really show you what kind of market forces are at play. And COVID saw, well, actually, I could tell you this last election went the way it did because of foot traffic, because people fled states with Orwellian lockdowns is the primary reason people moved to what we would call red states. And foot traffic studies really allow us to analyze, well, hey, if I'm going to open up a laundromat and I can just look at the whole country, where might I want to do that? Or if I want to set up certain services, home services, would increase in all those areas where foot traffic went to, where would I want to open up those home services? So we have multiple HVAC companies that work in multiple states. And that with foot traffic studies, they're now able to analyze from a very high level where these people are headed and where perhaps one of our clients might want to expand their business. So foot traffic studies really allow you to look at, and you could, you have obviously a vast background in economics. So this probably, sets all the light bulbs off in your head.
He's glowing.
Yeah, I mean, this should be the kind of information that you love,
Right?
Because social forces are economic forces, and social forces drive economics, and social perception impacts the velocity of money.
Yeah.
And foot traffic is velocity of money in action. So people have moved to places where markets are freer and where socially they are free. And therefore, in those places, money moves more freely. A foot traffic study can allow you to analyze that kind of data from a very high level and look down on a satellite level. What neighborhoods or what places should we be putting our business, because we're going to follow these economic trends?
Yeah, we'd call that the free behavior of free individuals, Ernesto. That's the basic analysis that we like to conduct. So let me put myself in the seat of one of your customers. What's my experience like? So I've bought into this technology. Do I get a dashboard? Do I get a monthly report? Do I get a database? Do I get a trend line? Can I tweak it? Can I say, "Ooh, this is working. Give me more of that," without calling you? How do I use it?
We did put a lot of money into our dashboard and our reporting system. And right now in January, we're going to launch a self-serve platform as well, but that's another time. But yes, that is in the works right now. But our dashboard goes in and it tells you everything you need to know. You personally can't tweak it, but we can. So everything that you get into when you get into the dashboard is you see what ads they saw, who came in, even what app, there's so many apps out there. You can imagine when we first started looking at the data, we didn't even know half these apps because I'm not on my phone as much as some people. But yeah, so you have all this data, you have graphs, you can see by month to month, we can do week to week. There's a lot of data that you get when you look at the reports, from the growth, from the spend, the ROI, what natural converters came in versus new converters, and repeat customers as well. So you have a lot of data to see whether or not your company is retaining those customers as well, because you need to look at that. Sometimes a customer comes in, but if you don't retain them to come back, that's hurting your ROI.
Mm-hmm. We can measure in our system the repeat visits. We can measure what TV show they saw, what TV they were, what streaming service they were on. If you're on Spotify, we're also able to see what was the referral source for that conversion.
Yeah.
So and then with the Amazon first party data, it's only made this even more exciting. Why it's important for local businesses to be on Amazon and why it's important for them to do connected TV is because the more sensitive your service, so any home delivery service, anytime someone's walking in your door, for you to be on a trusted source like Hulu or HBO Max or maybe some channel on Spotify, the higher quality the place your ad was placed, the more trust your business innately has when someone's introduced to your business. And then the fact that home service providers can now put ads in the Amazon Prime universe, again, that is it's great real estate for your message to be living.
Right.
And this is how we're growing with all the verticals that we're adding into our technology pot that we could offer our customers. And it's been amazing since we started.
We're delighted to announce the Value Creators online course. For entrepreneurs in every kind of business, big, small, or medium, at every stage, in every industry, our course provides the foundations and principles on which to build success. Simple, clear purpose and principles give rise to creativity, innovation, and competitively superior business action. There are 11 foundational principles or mental models that together cohere into the value business model. Principles for value generation, principles for value operations, principles for value finance and accounting, and principles for value sustainability, as well as the new knowledge accumulation you'll need for continuous innovation. These principles are delivered by top business professors from top business schools: Mark Packard, Per Byland, Gordon Miller, David Rapp, and Bart Vanderhagen. You'll find video lessons from them, along with downloadable tools, processes, and other valuable content. Master these lessons, and you'll master the most important skill in business: value creation. Go to thevaluecreators.com and click the course link. Well, let's go there. Before we went on air, we talked about politics and music as places where geofencing might be relevant. What are some of the other verticals, Barbara?
Well, as I mentioned before, events, any like Super Bowl events, any events like corporations that have, say, the insurance industry, or maybe even a doctor event, you can do all those for all the locals to, for them to come into the local area. Also, we can drive traffic online to your website, which is huge. Where else do you think? I mean, there's so many businesses that we can do.
Right now, oddly, we're doing erectile dysfunction. You would be amazed. We're doing TV commercials for erectile dysfunction,
Social Security, disability,
right.
to get back to work programs.
If you can imagine, if you can describe a person based on where they travel, and you can do that in 30 seconds, geofencing can benefit you, because for every kind of, hot yoga studios, coffee shops, anytime that if any service you provide, if you could pinpoint a place where your customer might be in the real world, then you can communicate a message to them on their mobile device or their smart TV.
Yeah.
So, like a mezcal.
Mezcal.
We had done these things, events.
We even do weather-based ads. So I'll give you an interesting application for our technology.
It's beautiful today.
It is beautiful here on the Jersey Shore. But out in the Midwest, they get these hailstorms, these giant hailstorms. And wouldn't you know that there are these companies out there that follow the hailstorms, and they do hailstorm repairs. So we can do weather-based ads for companies that do things like that. Or
like Tarp Plus.
Yeah. Sadly, we targeted hurricane alleys and things like that for companies like Tarps Plus, which is a nationwide company that provides tarps, industrial-sized tarps for roofs that have been torn off during hurricanes. So it's a needed service, and we were there to help that company reach their target audience. Yeah, based on the weather.
Well, I love this whole development field. It's local, it's personal, it's individual, it's tailored, and brings great benefit. So,
and it has us.
Even better. Even better.
The technology is out there for anybody to use, right? But you want people that are living in location-based advertising and messaging. So this is what we're obsessed about. This is there definitely, you can go out there right now and there are technologies that will allow you to do it yourself. But, I have a hood on my car. I can open it, and there's a place for oil. Apparently there's a filter on the bottom.
He kind of looks, I'm not sure that he really knows.
Right. But that's exactly my point. That's exactly my point. I leave things to the experts. So even though
But
you
I
might,
can change oil because I
Well,
know how, and I can change the tire.
Well,
How come you don't?
I'm going to let you do it then, since you seem to be
I'm driving them around lately. I don't know.
I crashed my car, but that's a different story. But yeah, one can open their hood. They know where the filter is. They know where the oil dispenser hole is. But hey, we'll leave it to the experts.
I never want to open the hood on my car. That would be a disaster.
I had to learn when I was like 16 years old. My uncle was like, I never want you stuck on a side of a road. This is the things you need to know just in case. I don't really do that anymore, but I know I can do it.
For everyone who's listening and not watching, Barbara is like a hot blonde. She looks like a young Melanie Griffith. So imagine her, checking your oil at a gas station, which she used to do. B, filling your car up with gas, which she used to do. And then C, she worked in an auto body shop. So she looks like Melanie Griffith, but apparently she could do things I can't do, which is change your oil.
Well, I was on the side of the car. And unfortunately, I was coming back from a funeral. So I had a black dress, heels, the whole 9 yards, and my tire went, pulled on the side of the road, and got the jack out, everything. It was, a newer car, and the jack just didn't fit the lug nuts. It was a different shape. I couldn't figure it out. So a couple stopped, and the wife was like, I think you need to help her. She's in heels and a black dress. And he looked at it and goes, no, I don't think this fits.
Right. She's qualified though.
But we got it changed. So that was good.
So take me to the future. You've painted this wonderful picture of what's capable in the present. You've hinted at the dashboard. Take me to the future for customers in a general way. So we started talking about small business and big capabilities. What are the kinds of things that I'm going to be able to do as a small or medium business owner in the future? And we talk about AI assistance, for example. That's a pretty vague kind of concept. Do you think about that? How a small business is going to operate in the future with all this technology?
Sure. I mean, right now, anyone listening could go online, go to Canva. You can go to Creatopia. Creatopia has AI-enabled ad creation. So you don't need, if you want to run certain kinds of ads, your own Facebook or whatever, your own Google ads, you don't even need an agency to create your creatives anymore. Because if someone made your logo for you, you simply go into some of these platforms like Canva and Creatopia, specify the ad size that you need for one of those platforms, and you could even write copy in multiple languages through Creatopia. So because that's AI enabled, and Creatopia also has its own ad. It's called the demand side platform. So you can even run your own display ads out there without anyone's help. So AI and a lot of the ad, and also the Adobe suite, which is great. We use all the things we're speaking about, by the way. So all these platforms are out there for you to handle ad creation and even targeting. And the important thing is guardrails. As a business owner, do you need to work with an agency? That agency is the one that provides the guardrails based on their experience, because these technologies are out there for those that can that are savvy, right? But not a lot. Even if you're savvy, you may not have the time. So there are platforms out there that allow you to at least ideate and start to create in your vision and how you like to communicate your brand. And then it's up to you to decide with these tools, do I want to work with an agency that provides the guardrails, or do I want to give it a go with some of these technologies out there that allow you to do it yourself? But I do have to say, in terms of geofencing, because we are more privacy sensitive than any other industry out there, the future is very big. And I'll explain. Google and Facebook and Meta and TikTok, they already know who you are, and they know a lot about you. But we actually don't know as much about you personally, but we don't need to, because we could draw certain inferences based on your location. As Barbara was saying before, if you're in a Mercedes dealership, you're likely there for service, or you're likely there looking for a new vehicle. So if we capture your device, if we anonymize it, protecting your privacy, we can draw certain inferences based on your location. So therefore, and location is more indicative of any of your search online habits. So it is the future, and it's only getting bigger and bigger. And you don't have to take my word for it. There are plenty of investment banks out there that, if you read the studies on location-based advertising, GPS-based advertising, geofencing, and geotargeting, it's only going to balloon into the billions, into a bigger market than it is today. So if you're a small business or a large corporation, this is something that should be in your toolbox. As a small business, you can chip away at these big competitors. One little slice at a time. You can carve out
cut.
you can carve out an audience for yourself. And if you're a big company, you can speak to small audiences instead of with these big media buys. You can have these small bespoke messages that really reach the people that maybe a small business can't reach, because they're services that that can only be provided, say, by a larger company. And there are certain realities out there. Certain companies, maybe certain surgical groups, have an information advantage and maybe a cost advantage that small medical surgical practices don't have, for example. But I just made that up because I actually don't believe that. I actually believe.
Well, I think it's resonating, right? You really want to resonate with those clients, those customers. And I think the way this year went, you realized how much you have to resonate with your clients.
Yeah, it's not about cost, it's about benefit. That's what we always preach. So get the benefits right. Just one thing there, Ernesto, you talked about the possibility of doing it yourself, with guardrails, but I don't think about the small business plus big tech as doing it yourself. I think about plugging into an extended network of expertise. The fact that I can find Cullari and Wardell, and you've got this specialized expertise, and I don't have to develop it. I've just got to find the right way to plug into what you can do. And the same with other services. And so this idea of the extended business that they one of the visuals that people paint is the one-person billion-dollar business. Well, we might not get there, but we can certainly get to tremendous scale and specialization and capabilities with a lot of outside services that we don't have to put inside our own walls and inside our payroll. So I think that's what you're doing for your customers.
And we love it. There's a giant learning curve. We're not going to lie. It's a giant learning curve to do geofencing. Otherwise every agency out there would be doing it.
And some do say that they do, but they're really not.
So, a lot of them we've noticed a lot of companies saying they're doing geofencing or geotargeting, but they're not closing the loop. Closing the loop is actually measuring foot traffic. Mm-hmm. So measuring online traffic is one thing, conversions online. But it's another thing. If you've invested in a brick and mortar business and you need people showing up, your advertising needs to close the loop. How you need to know how many people walked in the door as a result of your efforts. And because there's such a learning curve with geo-targeting and geofencing, and because there's just so much data to sort through, that is the difference of why, I know where the oil and filter is, I think, but there's a reason why.
I'll show it to him later. Don't worry. I'll open on my truck and I'll say, this is it and this is it. No, you don't want to know anyway.
I really don't want to know. And just in the same way that a lot of business owners really don't want to know how to do geofencing. You just want to know, like, okay, it can be done. You know it from a very high level. It can be implemented. And you probably do want to go to a specialist. In fact, even ad agencies would come to us because they want to do some sort of brand activation somewhere, because they're not specializing in this. They know it from a very high level, but they also don't want to spend the 1 to 4 years to master that technique.
And we broke it down so that they can afford it, where you just can't go into this industry and actually have I would say an average ad spend. Majority of them is thousands and thousands, tens, 20,000 of ad spend. So we broke it down to a formula that works for the small, mid, and upper businesses.
Yeah, on the small end, our clients spend $1,000 a month. So, we're hoping, you would hope that every business owner in America can at least afford $1,000 a month. And if you're not there yet, then believe me, you're not far. If you're working your business well, you are not far from being able to spend that amount of money. It should be your goal. And if you want to get to being able to spend $10,000 a month, just keep working your game, working your system, and eventually you'll be able to afford it. But we've have our system down to where businesses on $1,000 a month ad spend can use geofencing for themselves and look at most parts of the funnel with that amount of money.
Yeah. So, last question, Barbara and Ernesto, how do you think of your future? If we do this in a few years' time, what will Cullari and Wardell be up to?
I think the more technology that comes out, we're on top of it. We're always investing and learning new technology. I think that by the time, say in 2 or 3 years, we're going to be on the top of our field. And we're top now, but we're just going to continue to grow because we're integrating so much for the regular businesses that I think it's our passion to help them grow because they're the fabric of our country. So I think we're going to grow tremendously with all the technologies because we're not afraid of it. We take it on.
Technology can be pretty intimidating, and by specializing is how we've really learned what we're doing at the level we're doing it at. So, geofencing, there's so many technical aspects to it, but because we have gone one industry at a time, it's our 4th year really turning the laundry industry upside down, first with foot traffic and now with pickup and delivery processes. Because we've specialized, we have been able to master what we're doing, but now we're specializing. We're taking the specialization and we're taking it to other industries. So where Cullari and Wardell will be in 4 years, I believe, HVAC and home services is one of the things that we're going to change that industry. And I think after that is medicine. We both have a background, even though I worked in mainstream media, wrote songs and for different artists from Disney to country. My day job all the while was in surgery. Mm-hmm. So I was a surgical med rep and Barbara was in specialty medicine. And we would like to change medicine because we're anti-big hospital. The big hospitals have really destroyed small family practices.
The personalization of it,
and
the bedside manner.
And choices. You have less choices.
We were handcuffed a lot on things.
COVID really was a big evil destroyer of free markets, and medicine was one of them. So if you're a doctor out there, if you're a physician, if you're a surgeon, you want to screw the man. You want to get back at the big hospital.
Let us slay them.
Reach out to us. Reach out to us. Obviously, we can't help you with your insurance situations, but we can certainly help you with your messaging and for you to build a name out there for yourself outside of these oppressive hospital systems where you're nothing more than an employee. On the other hand, if you're a 65-year-old physician and you're thinking about retiring, absolutely. Let them buy you out and then go have a great vacation. Flip on the bird on the way out. But for you younger physicians out there, don't be a slave to the hospital system. Come find us and we will help you communicate to your audience.
Help you make that mark in society.
Well, you two are exemplary entrepreneurs. You're specialists. You're experts. You are giving service to customers. You're helping them with their business. You're enjoying what you do. You're using technology in novel ways. So congratulations and thank you for sharing today. We'll send people to your website. Is there anywhere else that we should direct folks to come and find you?
They can find us on Instagram, but I think our website, Cullari Media, is the best place to find us.
Yes,
we're on a ton of podcasts like yours. We in particular enjoy your podcast because of your philosophy. So economics and as long as it's not Keynesian economics, the economics of losers.
You won't
it's
find
an economics
that here.
of losers in loser states.
Right.
Austrian economics and common sense economics is what we're all about, and that's what your podcast is all about. And we really enjoy that, and we're really happy to be guests of yours since you're out there educating the public and business owners. A lot of business owners, sad to say, even big companies do not understand straight up economics. And even the Disney, you can look at the Disneys of the world, just in the Bud Lights of the world, destroying shareholder value because they'd rather preach than practice solid, sound economics. And we bring that mindset as well to our company, to the companies that we work with.
It's our passion.
Certainly do. Well, thank you both very much indeed. And I look forward to following your fortunes and your progress as time goes on. I'm sure we'll find you in the headlines.
Thanks, Hunter.
Thank you, Hunter. We had a great day.
Thank you.
Day.
I don't know, night day.
Right.
Afternoon, we had a great time.
This has been another episode of the Value Creators Podcast. Thanks for listening. You can visit thevaluecreators.com for links and resources related to this episode. And check out hunterhastings.com for more content on entrepreneurial business management based on value creation principles.